VSN Arcade Podcast.
Did I ever tell you what the definition of insanity is?
Minion! You're under fire with your face!
Not the smartest way to greet the heavily armed group that just kicked in your door.
Head to virtualsportsnetwork.com and sign up for the forums today.
Oh my gosh, it's happening, guys. Episode 100 of the VSN, I don't even know what it's called, Arcade Podcast? VSN Arcade Podcast, Swarley, is that right?
VSN Arcade Radio.
Oh my gosh, episode 100. I remember when it was still in the womb of, whose womb was it in? Josh's? Whose womb was it in?
Who even started this podcast?
Boucher.
Was it Boucher?
Yeah, it was his idea.
Man, I don't even know who that is.
Guys, I remember when this podcast was just in Boucher's testicles, and now it's in your ears. So it's pretty cool. Episode 100 of this, and we have got a couple guys on who have been on the podcast throughout the years. And who knows, at any moment, a couple random guys could jump on. You never know who's going to join us today. I'm going to go down the line. We're going to introduce them as I see them on my screen. So, we start with the man from the Midwest, the man who once had a beard, has Batman tattooed on his chest, and the ladies' panties drop off every single time they smell him. Clwnbby, what's up?
And I don't have Batman shaved into my chest.
Don't be a liar. Don't be a liar.
Let's not pretend.
I'm looking at it. It's luscious chest hair.
Okay, it's either Batman or the Atlanta Hawks logo.
It's one of the two.
Your choice.
And a Hawks for 100, please.
Okay. All right, well, you got a Hawks logo on your chest, and you are also, I will give you this, you're also all of our favorite Pokemon catcher.
I accept that.
What has been, do you think, Clwnbby, the total days of your life you have spent playing the Pokemon games?
I can't put a time on that.
I don't want to.
How many Pokemon games do you own?
All
question mark. I enjoy that answer quite a bit. All right, Clwnbby's around. He's here. He's one of the semi-regulars every now and then. We get him on every now and then. We always leave Clwnbby out of everything we do, and then he begs us in, and we forget that we forgot to ask him. So, Clwnbby, thanks for coming on. The next man I see here on my screen of people who are joining us is a legend on the podcast, and he is also probably the man who will stir the most controversy up of anyone who is on the podcast tonight, and that is Mr. Twigg. Twigg, what's up, man? Nothing has changed. I love it.
Turned down for what?
Yep. Dude, how's life?
It's great. It's even better now that I'm looking at the Batman logo. I mean, or the Atlanta logo in Clwnbby's chest hair. But.
Yeah, I hope someone can screen cap that and we can post it up with the podcast because it really is ridiculous. Clwnbby,
I'll just send you a picture of it if you guys want. I'll just sit naked and send you a picture.
Yep, that's going to work.
The beard is so insane that it looks photoshopped.
Yeah, are you actually cleanly shaven for today's podcast, or do you still have some of the facial hair?
Okay, I have 1 week's worth of facial hair. I shaved for a wedding, so
that's pretty cute of you. That's pretty cute.
Twigg, it must be someone you love.
Twigg, all as well with you. You've been here since the start of the podcast, man. You've been around. You've been dilly-dallying, and you haven't been on, I don't think, for every... Lately, have you been on, or am I wrong about that? I don't think you've been on a ton lately, right?
No, I think I was on, I guess it was the last one, which seems like it was like a month ago. And then I was on the infamous one, and that's about it in the last, I don't know, probably year.
But when we started this mess, you were in it deep all the time. So we appreciate you coming back for episode 100, man.
Yeah, way back when Boucher was, like, watching YouTube videos when he was supposed to be hosting, and Maynard came on a couple times. Yeah, it was good times back then.
It'll be fun. It'll be fun catching up with you. And then, of course, we have another man from the Dirty South joining us. He's on for another 6 seconds before Big Brother gets going.
You got 20 minutes.
KNUBB Nation, what is up, brother?
I'm chilling, preparing for the Big Brother madness.
You've been around. It's episode 100 of the podcast. You've been around since episode 1.
I was not there at episode 1. I showed up around episode 10. But I did. I'm taking full credit for this. I took this podcast to new heights.
Gosh. Oh, really?
Yeah. Yes.
Really?
And I will go back in time and get shared story to how I did this.
Would you like to do that right now?
At this
is
very
your moment.
Very moment.
Let me introduce the last member who's here, and then we're going to go back to you, Nub. The man, the producer extraordinaire, the guy who has been around for centuries with the podcast. And you know what? He's a Red Sox fan in Kansas City, and I don't understand how that works. Swarley, what is up, man?
Not a whole lot. Just sitting here mesmerized with Clwnbby's Batman hair.
God damn it.
Everyone is. Swarley, you've been around the podcast. I mean, you've been around, probably of the 5 of us who are on, you're the guy who's been on most of them.
Maybe most, but definitely not the longest. I don't know. Nub probably has me beat.
Cool, man. I number of episodes, though. Number of episodes. I think you're right there. Swarley, we appreciate it, man. Thanks for making some time. I'm Bomberuski, so I'll be semi-hosting this thing tonight. I think we're going to just kind of throw it around to everyone who's on. So like we do that, we'll do that right at the start, and we'll say, Nub, give us your story. Why are you to blame for making this podcast amazing?
Well, we go back to 2010, I guess? No, that's way too long ago. Like 2012. All right. I show up on number 10, and I actually was doing Swarley's job that is currently now, which is producing and editing and things like that. And I said, why isn't this on iTunes, you guys? And the responses I was getting were somewhere around, I don't know how. So I took a couple of days out of my life, did some searching around, and landed at Podomatic, which we had the free account, and that was just the easiest way to get the RSS feed to email to Apple. And I did all this legwork with little to no thanks. But I'm taking this moment right now to say that I'm the reason. I am the reason this podcast is what it is. It's the reason I was able to step away for like 6 months of my life and come back and it still be going. It didn't die. So
you are the reason that we have an Asian viewership.
We can play that Hoobastank song right now for you.
We all know this is true.
No,
there are archived threads of my situation of what I did.
You know, before though, when the podcast didn't have numbers, and the site virtualsportsnetwork.com, sign up for the forums today, I believe is the exact way you get onto that site. Before it was VSN, and it was like VSD and all the other names.
Nope, this was before that.
No,
it was still VSN.
False. Before all of that, we were on iTunes. That is
untrue.
No,
untrue.
I'm not kidding. I
made it happen. I made it happen.
No, you didn't, but I enjoyed your story quite a bit.
I did. There's no proof of it.
So apparently you are not the reason.
No, there's no proof of it.
Hoobastank is pulling out. Hoobastank is pulling out. I can't wait to hear more from you in a second because we're going to start with you on what you've been playing lately since you are on a 17-minute now. The clock is ticking on our time of recording. Big brother, your show is on. So we always start the podcast off with what have you been playing lately. We will go in a different order from how I introduced you because Nub's got that time crunch, and I know that if I start with Twig, it will be the end of Big Brother by the time he is done telling us. So we will start with Nub. Nub, what have you been playing lately?
I've been playing DC Universe and NBA 2K because those are the only games that I don't have to fully pay attention to play while I'm watching Big Brother 24 hours a day.
You're in too deep, man.
No, it's a rabbit hole, and I've been in too deep for like 10 years.
I like it. I love your passion. I know that Twig hates it. I love the passion for it. I'm all about getting hooked on something. How have you been liking DC Universe Online? How have you been liking NBA?
You know, every couple of weeks I go back to play DC Universe, and I get tempted into getting the subscription because I want all the DLC. I've considered just buying all the DLC to keep on playing because my level 30 tech gadget controller is starting to reach new heights of his combat rating, and I'm doing all these crazy raids. Like I did 3 raids on the Fortress of Solitude. I'm like, this is fucking awesome. I want to do more of this kind of stuff. So I need to get the DLC, and I started working on Handy Lady again, getting her up to 30. She's 24 right now. I'll probably have her 30 within the next week or so, unless everybody gets on. She could be 30 like tomorrow. But that's all because I got them fully sucked in and down the rabbit hole of Big Brother. If I'm not at work, it's Big Brother.
Have you been playing with anyone from the site at all on DC Universe? Like, is Donnie jumping on there with you?
By myself.
Ouch. I'll jump on with you.
600. Donnie's combat rating is way too high. I'm a fucking P.
We're not even losing up to Big Brother. We're losing him to technology. Now, how about NBA? Who you been playing? Are you still on a franchise, deep into a franchise, or are you just starting a new one? Give us the scoop on this. How are you keeping NBA 2K14 fresh after the NBA season is over?
Well, during the NBA season, I was playing a whole lot of team up, but right around playoff time, 2K servers decide we're going to poop ourselves and decide to go full butt cheeks. Yes, we brought butt cheeks back. Decided to go full butt cheeks, and team up no longer works. So
what?
The same group decided we're going to go to the park. I've never done the park until like 3 weeks ago.
What happened to team up? What happened to
100 and something thousand VC? It just can't connect.
Okay.
You get 10 guys in, and it won't connect.
So you're playing the park, and you're digging it.
Well, yeah, play the park every now and then. When team up doesn't work, I had 110,000 VC from playing my GM and team up. So I immediately got Kanye West up to a 90 overall. He's a 7-2 center, and he blocks everything.
Attaboy.
But I mean, if I'm by myself, I'll play GM. The Pelicans won a championship because that's the only way it's happening. I managed to trade Eric Gordon to the Pacers for Hibbert, which I then traded him and Al-Farouq Aminu and Alex Poitras for DeMarcus Cousins.
Oh, DeMarcus Cousins.
Yep.
Well, that's interesting. Enjoy him. Enjoy Booby all by yourself. All right, so you've been playing NBA 2K. You've been playing DC Universe all on the PS4. You're a PS4 guy. I'll have to jump on and play with you soon. Oh, Mr. Twig, let's do it. Let's get into it. What have you been playing lately?
Watch Dogs.
Say what? You've been doing the Watch Dogs thing?
Yeah, that's all I've been playing. I actually just completed the game, I don't know, 2 hours ago or something.
I don't know that I've ever heard your thoughts on Watch Dogs, and this interests me because you're not a huge GTA guy, and so
I definitely. I just don't know why you guys are so mesmerized with online and have to play it every day. But I love the GTA series.
Okay, then I have stand corrected. I always thought you just didn't like it. You just don't like the online. Well, I would love to at some point try to sell you on the online, and I would say I think the main reason I dig the online is just sitting there and listening to Jay, Dizzle, and Handle chat with each other. And Clwnbby. I enjoy just the camaraderie of being on there playing that game together. It's fun stuff. But you've been playing Watch Dogs. You liked it. Give me the thoughts on people who have maybe thought about getting that game. And from Twigg's angle, should they buy it? Should they wait? What's the scoop?
I definitely think it's for me at least, it was definitely worth full price. I think I put a little over 50 hours into it, which is pretty. I mean, I did basically everything you could possibly do in the game, except for I didn't really do any of those dumb dark blue icons, which are the the heck do they call those things? The digital trips and the money race things. I think I did each of those things like once, probably for trophy purposes. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
And that was about it. But I won. I think I'm sitting at like 87% game completion, and that's really mostly because I haven't done like any of the online stuff. I think I did like one online race, and I was like, this actually kind of reminds me of GTA. Kind of boring, and went back to the single player. But what I would suggest, if you haven't played the game yet, don't do what I do. I got like so wrapped up into doing all the side stuff. I got into this. What the fuck was that?
Are you playing Operation?
Yeah, that's what it sounded like.
You just touched the fucking hip bone?
Who was that? Nub?
Doubtful.
Anyway. Usually Nub's got hurricanes going on in the background.
Oh, jeez.
Right.
Like all kinds of nonsense. But anyway.
Yeah, whatever. Blah, blah, blah.
But yeah, I got kind of sucked into trying to unlock all the upgrades. So I found myself doing like all the fixer missions and stuff. And I was only, I want to say, I wasn't even quite complete Act 2 yet. And I had already completely unlocked all the upgrades. So it was kind of dumb. I mean, I finished Act 2, 3, 4, and 5, and especially in Act, I'd say 4, you get like 2,000 XP points per mission that you complete, and I had already maxed out my XP. So that was kind of dumb with that, But still, I mean, I still had a lot of fun playing it. The graphics are pretty underwhelming in that game for it being a PS4 Xbox One game. Obviously, because it was like cross-developed for last-gen consoles. So I mean, there's some stuff that you're like, oh, that looks pretty good, and then other stuff you're like, this doesn't look much different than GTA 5, which was on PS3 and 360. But besides that, I did run into a couple glitches. I think I had 2 or 3 that basically game-breaking glitches where I had to restart or reload my save because like a character that you were supposed to be chasing wouldn't move, or just the mission icon was not showing up, stuff like that. That happened like 2 or 3 times. So, but besides that, I mean, obviously I spent 50 plus hours playing the game, so I definitely enjoyed it a lot.
How was the story, Twig?
It's decent. It's definitely not terrible. It's not like there's like any intrigue or I had no idea that was happening. I mean, you pretty much you know exactly what's happening the entire time. Just a lot of nefarious characters that you're trying to hunt down, but I just thought the gameplay was really good. Basically, any game that incorporates slow motion and shooting is always 2 thumbs up in my book. So that was always great. I thought the weapon selection was pretty good. I thought the upgrades that you could unlock was pretty nice. But yeah, it was definitely. I thought the main character, he was decent. I thought his raspy voice was a little bit much. But overall, definitely. I haven't really paid too much attention to the DLC. I think I would be interested in the single player, which is where you get to play as the T-Bone character, which I don't think they've announced any kind of release date for that yet. But I'm always up for some more single player. But the other stuff they've added, like some, I think like multiplayer stuff and maybe some weapons and vehicles. Not really. And I think the last DLC, which just came out Tuesday, was it said it was single player content, but I from what I understand, it was just like all of the pre-order bonuses. Like, because I think each major retailer, you got like an exclusive mission, like Best Buy, Amazon, and whoever else, GameStop, I guess. So that's all that last DLC was. It was those like 3 retail exclusive missions, which whatever.
I made a bad choice with Watch Dogs. So I own it, and had my little brother came over one day and wanted to play because he wanted to see it. He's jealous of that PS4, and so he started it. He got about 2 hours into it, saved it, and then I realized you can only have one game save at a time.
Yeah, that's dumb.
I'm in a mode, like, I know he's going to come back and play it, so he came back and played it, made it a couple more hours into it. Now I can't play it because I just have to wait until he decides to come over and beat the game before I can do anything with that. So that really pissed me off about watching.
What about,
what you should have done was, firstly, delete the first save. Secondly, create a profile on the PS4 for your brother.
Yeah,
that's when you get to different saves.
Well,
yeah, I didn't think about that. I was gonna say, couldn't you have just saved the save to a hard drive, a flash drive, or something?
Well, that sounds like fun. Sounds like a lot of tricky work.
Your brother.
Yeah, just kill my brother, right?
Yeah, the extra profile, that probably would make the most sense and be the easiest thing to do.
Yeah, thanks guys for being there for me when I needed you 3 weeks ago.
Well, you didn't ask nobody.
Right.
You know who to ask.
Well, I love asking
your woes.
You know I love asking questions, so I'll do another one right now. Twig's been playing Watch Dogs. He's been balls deep into that.
Mm-hmm.
Clwnbby, my friend, what have you been playing lately?
I'm on Pokemon Blue.
Jeez.
All right, guys.
Is that
original 151?
Is that like a Game Boy Advance game? What is that?
I'm an adult.
Game Boy.
Play what I want. But yes,
Pokemon Blue, you have to have been playing something else too.
Yeah, I'm playing the show also.
But
boy. Twigg wouldn't let me finish because he's a child. And I'm an adult. I can play Game Boy Advance games if I want to.
Actually, I really can't hate on you because I forgot because I got that Retron 5 and I was playing Baseball Stars like a couple weeks ago. So
nice.
Yeah, Baseball Stars, a little Bad News Baseball. Basically every old school baseball, NES baseball game you can imagine. I was playing it.
That RBI?
RBI, actually RBI 2. Little League Baseball.
Have you been playing any of the backyard baseball? Because really, it's all that matters.
Backyard baseball? I don't remember that one.
Oh, that's the pinnacle of baseball.
When they're kids.
Pablo Sanchez, excuse me, and
Pablo's the greatest athlete of all time.
Amir and Ahmed Khan, the Khan brothers. Come on, backyard baseball is where it's at.
This was on NES?
No, this is on computer, and then I think it trickled over to some of the consoles, but mainly on a computer that you could run Minesweeper and backyard baseball on.
That's all you needed.
All right, hey, Clwnbby, and your MLB The Show, what have you been doing on that?
I'm in that High Heat League on the PS4 at VSN.
Is that still running?
Yeah, it's still running.
That's surprising. This is the longest running show league of all time.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there are some...
It's a 2-week affair, and then it's done.
Yeah. I mean, there are some online issues. It'll drop you every once in a while. But other than that, it's great.
Who are you running with?
Royals.
And how are you doing?
Terrible.
Is it fun? I mean, is the game, when you do get a game that doesn't drop online, has that been a enjoyable thing, or is it mainly you playing 9 innings, crossing your fingers that the internet doesn't cut out?
Oh, I love it. And mostly it's I don't know. It'll drop you, and then you'll either have to play it again, or Commish will have to assign victory, which usually goes to the guy I'm playing against. But yeah, I love it.
So the show and Pokemon Blue for Clwnbby, and the show you said you're playing on PS4. You've got what are you running the Pokemon Blue on? Are you emulating it? Do you bust out the Game Boy Color? What are you doing?
That was OG Game Boy.
My Blue Steel, I should say, Blue Steel Game Boy Advance SP with the backlight.
Oh my!
It's got scratches from falling out of cars on road trips. It's It probably has like some airheads stuck in the cartridge.
What? How do you drop a Game Boy out of a car? Like, are you playing? When you're your head out of the window like a dog while you're playing?
You are a rough and tough man like me.
Yeah?
You can do whatever. You can play video games on the roof of your vehicle.
I was going to say, were your parents, did they strap you to the roof of the vehicle?
I got Joe dirted as a kid, okay?
Okay. That's what I figured.
All right, kids, it's Big Brother time.
Oh, see you, Nub. Have fun watching Big Brother. We'll talk to you later.
Dumbest show ever.
We'll be back.
All right, man. Enjoy. Clwnbby, did Charizard, were his feelings or her feelings hurt when you dropped him off the roof?
Absolutely not.
Of course not.
They all love me.
Of course they do. All right, well, hey, what is the best Pokemon game, by the way?
Silver. Pokemon Silver. Which I'm going to be playing after I beat Blue.
You made that up as you were speaking. You made that up. Swarley, what have you been playing lately?
You made your life up. Okay?
Thank you. Swarley, what have you been playing, man?
It took me a little while to find, after Watch Dogs, to sink my teeth into something, so I was just playing Assetto Corsa and iRacing on the PC for a while. And then I bought a stupid amount of games during the Steam Summer Sale, and I finally decided to start playing Bully Scholarship Edition.
Oh, nice. How's that going?
It is a lot of fun. I'm having a lot of fun. I've kind of run into an interesting problem where main missions are not popping up, and I don't know if that's because there's a class that I still haven't passed yet, or if it's the game being a piece of poo. So we'll see, but other than that, it's been a lot of fun.
Nice. That was a game that I really was excited to play for PS2. Got about 3 hours into it and had a scratch on my disc. That's why I don't buy used games anymore. But I had a scratch in the disc; it wouldn't get past it, and I was too lazy and stubborn to go take it back and get a copy that worked. But Bully Scholarship Edition, nicely done, Swarley.
Yeah, I never played it on PS2. I had it for a year or so on 360 and or the Scholarship Edition on 360 and never got around to it. But when it was like $3 maybe on the Steam Summer Sale, and I decided to go for it.
Nicely done, man. That's not too shabby. I can't wait to hear what you think of that story in that game. It's a fun one. How are the racing leagues going?
Pretty good. We are on break right now because a few people are on vacation, but we're about to ramp it back up on Sunday. What do
you play the most of racing wise, and also league wise?
Personally, iRacing, league-wise, it's pretty much split right now between Assetto Corsa and iRacing.
And what are those both PC?
Yeah.
So you've given up on console gaming altogether?
On console gaming, no. On console sim racing, yes.
Because you used to be all about the Forza leagues, and now you've bailed on those.
Well, once you play a sim racing game on the PC, it's impossible to go back. The physics on Forza just don't hold up. So we've kind of dumped that and gone towards 2 PC games.
Is JMS in the iRacing league?
He is in both of them.
Okay, and are you guys using wheels or is it controller? How do you play your PC racing game?
Oh, we are all about the wheel.
Can you give a shout out to a specific one that you're digging?
I'm using. Actually, I think we're all using the Logitech G27.
Nicely done. How much does that set you back?
I got mine for $200.
Oh my gosh!
Oh my god!
That's a pretty cheap wheel too.
Yeah, I got a car for $200.
The guys who are into those races, it is something that I will never steer away from in terms of intrigue. I love the guys like you, Swarley, who are deep into the racing leagues, especially on PC. They fascinate me. The setups that guys have for their racing games is awesome to me. The amount of detail that is put into those games is awesome to me. I just don't know jack squat about cars every time I make one modification in any racing game, I can't control my car. I feel like it's going slower. I'm garbage at those games, but I do try to live vicariously through your stories of your league. Which, by the way, how are you doing in the league?
Right now, I am. We're next week is going to be the final week of season 1 in iRacing, and somehow I've lucked into being in first place.
My man.
If Jay Bauer shows up, that probably won't be the final standings because he's really good. But he's missed. I think he's missed 2 races. In the other league, we haven't really, in Assetto Corsa, we haven't really started an official season yet. We've only done 1 practice night, but yeah. But yeah, going back to the setups, that's sometimes where I can fall behind because I can do aero, I can do gearbox stuff, but when it gets to the other modifications to a car, it's a little over my head, so I usually have to do some searching around, finding some setups.
Right on. Well, I'm jealous of you, and I'm glad you're doing that league. It always sounds like a lot of fun to do. And a side note, you mentioned Jay Bauer. Is anyone watching the real Jay Bauer on television this season?
Yes. Absolutely. I still need to watch this week's episode, though.
I'm so
me
behind.
too.
I watched the first episode, and that's it.
Oh, yeah, you're way behind. Yeah, I haven't watched this week's yet either, Swarley. I love this season. I love this season.
I'm kind of waiting to do a double episode thing on Monday.
Like watch last week's leading up to the current one, and then just get into it with everyone else in America.
Exactly.
Clwnbby, you liking this season?
Yes, I love it.
So
good.
I'm a little sad it's not 24 episodes long, but it's pretty damn good.
Me too, and I think it was smart of them. I think it was smart of them to do the shorter season and really get us all back into it because don't you think now after this one they bring it back for another year?
Oh, I think they have to.
Yeah, if they don't, then they're screwing themselves over.
They got the writing back on track, man. It was that show suffered from guys who had burnt out on writing good scripts because the last couple seasons of 24 were brutal, and I just think they had kind of dug themselves into a hole with what was it, President Logan? I think when President Logan came in, for me anyways, that's when I just felt like, what the hell is happening with this show? But I think they're back into it now. I really do. I like what I see from the writing of 24.
See,
hopefully it's back, man.
For me, it was when Logan stopped being president.
And Heller came in?
There was a lady.
Oh, that was terrible. That was an absolutely god-awful season.
When Logan was president, I absolutely loved that character because I hated him so much.
That's fair. That is fair. And I hated his wife as well.
Like him and, what was her name at the beginning of the series? The president's wife.
Sherry Palmer?
Yes.
Sherry Palmer, man.
I want to punch her in the face.
Those two characters, I've never hated characters more in any type of media than those two, and I loved it.
Like, if I could punch any president's wife in the face, it would be her.
Oh, she was so awful. But yet made the show so great.
What about the real president's wife?
I don't know that you're allowed to comment on punching the real president's wife on a podcast, Twig.
I was asking. I didn't say I was going to do it.
You are a man of the law. How dare you?
I was asking a question. I didn't say I was going to do it.
He's trying to trap us.
It is. It's a classic cop move. He's trying to trick us into saying something that gives him a reason to kick down our door and put handcuffs on us like he's wanted to for so many years now.
Yep. In the sexual way.
Oh, by the way,
I love it.
I can't wait to rub my hands through that Atlanta Falcons logo.
Oh, unreal, man. Okay, so Swarley's been in the racing world, been doing a little bit. Have you been doing any of the show at all, Swarley?
You know, I kind of stopped. I need to hop back into my road to the show, though.
Yeah, it's a great feature. I have been neglecting MLB The Show to the point where it's still, like Clwnbby said earlier with FIFA, my MLB The Show is still in the wrapper. It is really depressing. But I've been playing a lot of games lately. I got a 3DS. I got a Nintendo 3DS because I had some of that Target. I had some of that Target gift card money that you get at Christmas, and I have no idea what to do with. And they put those things on sale. So I got the 2DS for, I think it was on sale for $80. And
wait, what? You got a 2DS?
Yeah, well, it was on sale, Twig. It was on sale for $2.
Those things look like dollar store knockoffs.
What are you, 7? What are you,
Bomber, I am on your side here.
What do you play, Pokemon?
Okay, so here's what I've got on it.
What you play? The ass trumpet.
I like that. I've got all the Zelda games that you can get on it, so I've got all of them. And then I got some of the Mario games, and yes, Twig, Clwnbby got me into it. I downloaded one of the Pokemons. I don't know if it's Pokemon X or Pokemon Y. And I gave it a good couple of hours. I haven't played it for a while, a couple of weeks. But I got into it. I understand. I now understand the intrigue in the series, at least. So I feel like I've done myself a service by learning what it's about, and I can see why people, especially OCD people, love that game. Because it is a game, Clwnbby, that is made for people who are OCD, which I now assume you are.
Probably developed it playing the game.
Yeah, no, you're probably right. I just, the second I started playing, I thought, this is a game for OCD people. It's got a list of all these things you're trying to get. And I can just see some of my buddies who are OCD not putting it down until they have that entire booklet filled up, and then probably still aren't satisfied with life, as they are in general. So I was playing some of my 2DS, but I put that down. I've been playing Terraria on my Vita, and I have been loving that game. I have put some good hours into Terraria on Vita, and I have not been disappointed at all with it. It was one of the free downloads if you're a PS Plus member. Have any of you guys played that game?
I have not. I almost, it was like, I think it was $1.99 on the Steam Summer Sale. I almost bought it, but I didn't.
Oh, it's so good. It's so, I'm really having a lot of fun with that game. So I'd recommend it. If you have a Vita, you're looking for a use for it, and I don't know if it's still free right now. It might still be free. If it is, just go do it. It's worth it. And I don't know what it costs normally. If it's $10-15, it's worth it for that as well. I've been logging some time with that, and I've been on the PC playing a bunch of stuff. I got back into Civilization 5, so I was doing some Civ 5 for a while. I dabbled a little bit with Hearthstone. One of my buddies was playing that, so I did that. Jumped back into Diablo 3 for a little bit because I wanted to see the new loot system. That was pretty cool. And I've been doing some NBA 2K14, and I'm trying it a little bit different right now, where KNUBB is just running with that park mode. I've made like a player lock season with the Portland Trailblazers, so I've marked out what games I'll play during the season. I can't play all of them. I don't have time for it, and I lose its luster. So I'll play one game where I player lock Damian Lillard, go with him, and then simulate a couple games, player lock with Wesley Matthews, simulate a couple games, and I've got a pretty good system going where it's keeping me very interested in that game this many months after its release and even after basketball's done. So I've been pretty happy that I've got my money's worth out of 2K14. Other than that, I don't think I've really been playing a whole lot of anything, but that to me feels like a lot of games I've been logging some hours into. All right, Swarley, I take the baton of hosting. I hand it to you because after what have you been playing, I have no idea where we go with VSN, Arcade Radio, Smadio, whatever podcast.
Well, I was kind of thinking we would maybe start talking about some of our favorite games of all time. Since, right now we're in a huge gaming drought. There's not even really a whole lot of news, so figured we'd use tonight's episode to talk about some stuff that we usually don't get to.
I'm all about that. I enjoy that a lot. I've actually been reading some stuff. A lot of sites have been doing, once again, I think it's because it is the summer drought. You'll get a lot of the video game sites who are posting their best in categories of all time. It's the classic summer post, like you said, when nothing's coming out. So I'll kick it off for you with a series that I actually dove back into when I had a couple buddies up here the last couple of weeks for a little basketball tournament. They stayed for a week, and I was showing them Grand Theft Auto 5. and they were blown away by it. They loved it. They finally understood why I logged so many hours into it. I got to tell you, the Grand Theft Auto series, to me, is easily a top 3. This is probably the first series I think of when you say best game of all time. I just go right to any of the GTA games. I mean, and the thing is that you can throw any of them at me. I'd even get down with 4 over a lot of other random games. I love those games, man. And just Clwnbby and I, just a couple weeks ago, we were playing Grand Theft Auto 5. He was running around with his top hat on. I was loving that. To me, it's a perfect game series.
That's actually a good start, because just today I saw there was Mr. Bill made a thread for Mario's 33rd birthday, and it got kind of off track in Buzzman from virtualsportsnetwork.com, signed up for the forums today, said that GTA was the most overrated series of all time. Troll
alert. It's not possible. I don't even understand how you could say it's the most overrated series of all time. Now, Twig, you mentioned you like Grand Theft Auto. I know Clwnbby, you like it. Would either of you guys have the GTA series up there in like your all-time favorites?
Yeah. I mean, I think 3 is definitely one of my all-time favorite games. I don't know if the series as a whole would be one of my all-time favorites, but they're definitely really good games. Like, I'm not, like I posted in that thread, and apparently I got ridiculed because my head didn't explode when the GTA 5 logo released. So, I do think some people, are a bit ridiculous with that series. But yeah, it's super good. GTA 3 is definitely one of my favorite games ever made. So,
all right, I will say something about the logo thing. I can't speak for anybody else because, I don't know why they would be. But, I mean, I'm pretty sure I didn't say anything or too much about the logo. But as someone who has done some design work with logos and stuff, I appreciate a good logo.
Yeah, that's fair. That is fair. I don't know anything about running Photoshop or any of those programs that make images. So I'm with Twig where I can't appreciate. I just think I can't appreciate it.
But it wasn't even that it's not that I didn't like the logo. It was just like the fact that they released the logo. Everyone was, oh my god, did you see it? GTA 5 logo. Oh my god. Like, it's a fucking logo.
Yeah, but it's not the logo that people are excited about. It is the prospect of a game series that we love.
Yeah, but it's not like that logo just came out of nowhere and they were like, everyone was like, oh my god, it's confirmed that game's coming out. They already confirmed that the game is coming out.
So I think this gets into a different, this then doesn't even get into video games. This is human life buildup. And there's no way I'm interested in that. But in general, people have different levels of excitement on everything. And some people, like me, I love getting excited for stuff because I thrive off that. I love knowing that there's something to look forward to in the future. So if there's something minimal and they release anything on it, it gets my excitement back up and I'm all in. And people, that's an adrenaline rush. I would get no adrenaline rush out of jumping out of an airplane. But some people would. I'll never knock someone for getting an adrenaline rush for jumping out of it because I get it. People get different rushes from different things. So I think that people get excited about it. I don't know that you can knock that because that's just how people are made up differently.
And speaking of jumping out of
fun about people are getting made up differently, I feel like that's a completely different issue altogether on that front. But I think that the reason isn't the actual logo and how it looks. Some people love getting excited about stuff. And that was just one thing to throw out there that people who like to get excited could be like, all right, it's still there. It's a reminder that the game's still coming out. It's something to get that excitement back up and running.
Speaking of jumping out of an airplane, you guys should go check out Bomber's YouTube page.
Oh yeah, jumping out of the. I want to do that with you guys online sometime. I want to do that. We all get on an airplane in Grand Theft Auto 5 and try to jump into one of the pools that is hillside in Los Santos. Hey, Clwnbby, are you digging the GTA series?
I am. 2 thumbs up. Like anytime you can just do whatever you want in a game, I'm down with that.
And it is one of the ultimate sandbox games. I know Twigg mentioned, Grand Theft Auto 3, and I think that was one of the first experiences a lot of us had with that sandbox in Grand Theft Auto 3. That feeling was unmatched, I thought, for me anyways, at the time of its release, being a console gamer. I didn't experience anything like that. And I don't know, Twigg, if that's the same thing you were getting on Grand Theft Auto 3, but the openness of that game was great.
Oh, it was mind-blowing.
Oh, yeah. There's, I still remember that. I want to say, I don't know if it was the first year that they did it, and I think they did away with it past, they haven't done it in a couple of years, but there was a time where Toys R Us, it was like right around October every year, they would have a buy two, get one free sale. Now, of course, nowadays, there are so many retailers having, that have deals, like Best Buy, of course, with their Gamers Club thing. There's so many different, crazy deals going on. Of course, Amazon, you can usually get stuff cheap. I mean, cheapassgamer.com is an aggregate site just for looking for deals on games. But back then, when that game came out, there really weren't, crazy deals like that. I mean, it was, being able to, get a, buy two, I guess they were $50 games back then. Two $50 games and then you get a third one free. It was kind of a big deal. And I'll never forget, I got that. I want to say it was the first Devil May Cry, and I don't remember what the third game was, but I remember just...
For Clwnbby's sake, can we say Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3?
It might have been. I did love those Tony Hawk games, especially the first two on PS1, but anyway. But, yeah, I just remember playing that game, and I want to say Devil May Cry and whatever the other game is, which the fact that I can't even remember what it was.
It's probably still in the wrapper at your...
Probably still in the wrapper, because I could not stop playing GTA. I just played that game nonstop, and I was not like one of those people where I would start getting distracted and then, let me just see if I can get a 5-star rating and just start shooting, helicopters down with I mean, I was literally just doing, missions and I just could not get enough of that game. That game was insane. It was the first just open world experience that I ever had. I was just I was blown away by it. I was absolutely blown away just by all the stuff you could do, the story, just the way it was set up, how you went to your missions, and it was amazing.
Okay, so Twigg, I'll ask you, because you're bringing up missions from Grand Theft Auto 3 as we kind of run down memory lane with some of our favorite games of all time on Podcast 100. There was a mission in Grand Theft Auto 3, and I'd love to know if any of you guys had the same problem as I had, because this was before I knew about video game forums and could go on there and vent and say, is anyone else pissed off at this? There was a mission you'd get on the third island where you had to drive around to, I believe it was 8, I want to say they were newspaper stands or something, and you had to blow each one of them up. And that freaking mission took me so long to do, because you had to be perfect on it. You had no time for error. Does anyone remember that mission?
Vaguely. Yeah, did you have to throw, grenades at them or something, or could you just run them over?
You could throw a grenade, you could run them over, or you could bazooka them, but your car took a lot of damage if you hit them.
I think what I did was, and I also kind of figured out a little, not like a trick, but a good way to beat a lot of the I think weren't they called Gran Torino races or something in that game? Was to use the Humvee type vehicle, because that thing could take some serious damage, and you could basically just bully the other cars in the race. And I'm pretty sure I used that that Hummer or that Humvee type vehicle to do that newspaper stand mission too.
That's a great call. Hey, give me one of your games, Twigg. Here's the deal: you to me are one of a gamer that I really enjoy. When you say a game is good, unlike Clwnbby, I value your opinion. I always will value, you have a great thread going at VSN that I always love looking in on. It's Twigg's Gaming Chronicles, and it's one of my favorite threads on the site, because I find you enjoy games, and you are maybe a little overly critical sometimes on games, which is, people always give you a bad time about that. But I think that's a good thing, because it gets people who are looking to buy games a little more in-depth opinion. I'd love to hear what you have enjoyed over your tenure playing games.
Well, I just kind of scratched out a short list real quick of like games that I could definitely remember that are just really stand out to me, and I guess I'll kind of go in order like through the generations. Like the NES days, you just couldn't beat the original Super Mario Brothers and Zelda. I still say the original Legend of Zelda is it still may be my favorite game of all time.
It's great. And Twig, that's a game I'm playing on my 2DS right now, by the way. You'll be happy to know.
Really?
That's a game. I love it. It's still so much fun, man.
And it was funny when my wife and I went on that Alaskan cruise a couple years ago, and then we stopped off in Seattle for a couple days. I started playing that on my 3DS, and I couldn't stop playing it. I was like, this is just like when I first started playing this when I was like 9 years old or whatever it was on an NES. This game is amazing. Like, it's so good. And that's why I think I really like, I need to get back into it, is that, is it A Link Between Worlds, I guess, the newest one?
Yeah, A Link Between Worlds, yeah.
Yeah, that game is very similar, just in the way it's set up with the dungeons, how it's an overhead view, and that game is great as well. But yeah, the original Zelda, that game was amazing. Love it. And plus, of course, back then, just like figuring out all the little nuances and the little tricks like yourself, because again, that was way before the internet. So even stuff that you couldn't figure out, it was usually word of mouth. Like, how do I get through the forest? Like, it just keeps resetting to the same screen, and it was just something you had to figure out on your own. Like, that was just a completely different era of gaming. It wasn't, oh, well, let me go to GameFAQs and I'm sorry, let me check YouTube and check a walkthrough video.
Game FAQs, Twig.
Huh?
What's that? What's that?
Game FAQs, Twig.
Game FAQs, I'm sorry.
And I would love to be the kid who was the first one in Mario Brothers 3 to find one of the whistles, because I would venture to say that the whistles in Mario Brothers 3 are one of the most word-of-mouth secrets, if you will, of any video game of all time.
Right. Yeah, and like, I remember getting that, only old guys would remember this, but that the Nintendo Player's Guide that came with like, I want to say not second generation, because really there wasn't like nowadays where you have a slim Xbox or whatever. It was still the same NES, but it was like, I don't know, maybe a year after the NES originally released, they started bundling it with games, and then he also had a version that came with this guide, which was a pretty thick book that had like, just tips and stuff for their most popular games, and one of the things they had for Zelda was this big fold-out map. So I just remember just being enthralled, like just unfolding that beast of a map and just like, oh my god, I can't believe this. I've never even been to this area. I can go all the way up to here, but I need to get through the Lost Woods, and I don't know how to get through there with the proper sequences. And I would have to say it's still probably my number one game of all time. But yeah, besides that, Super Mario, I guess going into because I went from NES to actually had a brief stint with the TurboGrafx 16, which myself and maybe 10 other people owned. But I did really like that, even though none of my other friends had one. But then I went to the Genesis, and I primarily played sports games on that thing, and NHL. The NHL series, like I guess in particular '94, is still probably the best sports game ever made.
It is hard to argue. Those old NHL games back then, they were amazing. They were awesome.
And I back then and even to this day, I really have no interest in hockey whatsoever. But those games were just so much fun. I mean, you had '93 where you could make people's heads bleed. 94, you had the crowd meter with the decibels, and just the Stanley Cup trophy celebration out on the ice with the guys skating around, and handing off the trophy between, like, you don't even have, like, even games these days, so it's like, oh, you just spent 100 hours playing through a season of MLB The Show, and, oh, here's some credits, congratulations.
Right. Yeah, you want to advance to off season? You go,
yeah, right. Yeah, you want to get into the next season? It's like, that was whatever, but, yeah, that game.
I will tell you, Twig, and I don't know if you did this a lot, how great was couch co-op on those NHL games?
Oh, yeah, and not only that, but even just planning. I mean, my buddies and I would just play those games just forever. And, you know, of course, you and your buddies would always have the tightest contests ever. Everyone had their own team. I think back then, I used to always use the Blackhawks, and I want to say it was only because their star player had the same first name that I did, Jeremy Roenick.
Oh,
so, yeah. And, of course, he ended up being a beast in that game. And the Blackhawks in general were really good, and I believe my buddy used to always use the Rangers for some reason, but yeah, I mean, just the head-to-head games in NHL were just an absolute blast. And also NES days, Baseball Stars I already mentioned. We used to play that game all the time. We used to, my buddies and I used to have a kind of a season even before games really kept track of stats and stuff. We used to have a season of RBI Baseball 2, where we'd actually keep stats in a notebook. And then, like, it was like 4 of us, and then obviously, because, you know, 2 of us had American League teams, the other 2 had National League teams, and whoever had the best record with the American League and nationally played a 7-game World Series, kept stats and everything. It was sweet.
It was a different world, but it was a great world, because I think we all probably did that. We loved doing that. We loved keeping track of the home run leaders, and, you know, I think we had 6-7 guys who would do that. So we had our own little league going, and the same exact thing, Twig. And if I could find one of those notebooks filled with stats, man, I'd give anything to find one of those, because they were great. A lot of chicken scratch, a lot of arguing over after the game was done how many home runs the guy had. You know, we knew people were opening that notebook and fudging the numbers a little bit when no one was looking. And you're like, no, you didn't hit 20 home runs.
Mountain Dew on it.
Absolutely. I'll rewrite that one. Don't worry. I'll give myself a couple extra check marks by the home run category. But I like looking back at the NES, kind of that era. So, Swarley, I'd ask you, you know, what Twig has said, some of those great games from there. Do you have some fond memories as a kid with the NES and that generation, the Genesis and that generation of games?
You know, NES was... I didn't have a whole lot of experience with that as a kid. I played a ton of Genesis with friends. I never owned one myself, but lots of friends had those. Always, I mean, the Madden tournaments that we'd have during sleepovers was just ridiculous.
Oh yeah.
Probably Madden 94, 95. Yeah.
I will never forget injuring Randall Cunningham in the playoffs right at the goal line. And the ambulance coming in and running everyone.
Yeah.
But for me, really, as a kid, I mean, my parents weren't big into video games, so I mean, it was hard sometimes to get my hands on a console, ownership wise. But I always had a lot of PC games.
This is Twig. Hi. Back to you, Swarley.
Are you like in China right now? But yeah, I was.
Back to you. Fight through the distraction of marital bliss and continue on this path.
But yeah, I was when I was at home, I was usually PC games, lots of sports games, racing games.
Caveman Olympics.
Is that? I don't know what that is. Is that something that you're doing right now? I mean,
you don't know what Caveman Olympics is?
I mean, judging by your profile picture, I have to say it's something that you're doing in real life.
Yes.
I believe it's time for a Clwnbby spotlight. What the heck is Caveman Olympics?
Don't call me out on this.
That's a NES game, wasn't it?
It's on the computer, man.
Oh, okay.
Way back before I was born.
Yeah,
it's like you're these cavemen, and you have to do all these, Olympic events only set caveman times. Like, you have to try to start a fire, and, like, if the person you're competing against is getting really close, you can, like, bonk them on the head with your big, caveman stick. Try to fuck them up.
This sounds so silly.
It's just general caveman tomfoolery, and it's great.
The only kind. That's the best kind.
It's the best. Yeah. I mean, cavemen have their own set of rules.
Yeah, same rules you live by on a day-to-day basis, Clwnbby.
Pretty much.
Were you even around for the Nintendo generation of games, or is that why you play Pokemon now, to catch up on what we loved?
I'm trying to catch up. I'm still a kid.
How old are you officially?
Officially 23. I'll be 24 next Thursday.
Okay. So we're still in our 20s, unlike these other old bastards.
Oh, yeah. Old guys drool.
But yeah, going back, of all time, I would have to say, and this kind of gets back to our original conversation. My favorite game of all time is still GTA Vice City. I still remember playing it at friends' houses on their PS2. I got it on PC when it released. I mean,
how can I forget that? I actually like that better than 3.
That game, I mean, I don't.
One of the best stories in any video game ever.
Oh, and the music. I mean, come on, Flock of Seagulls.
Best video game soundtrack ever.
They could have played Flock of Seagulls just on loop that entire game.
Yeah,
and I would have been happy.
I mean, come on, you take the Scarface ripoff story, and it was perfect. I really hope at some point Rockstar goes back to Vice City for the setting of a GTA game. I would absolutely love that. Mm. I mean, we've gone back to Liberty City, we've gone back to Los Santos and San Andreas. I think it's time to go back to Vice City.
Would you be fine with, because they did Vice City Stories for PSP, which is a cool game. I actually really like that game. And then you could get it on PS2 later.
It had Phil Collins.
Yeah, that was, yes it did.
I own the port on PS2. I still haven't played it yet, though.
Oh, it's great.
Oh, it's so great.
It's a fun game. You play as Lance Vance's brother.
Yeah.
Nice badge, officer. Hey, I would ask you this, though, Swarley. When they go back to Vice City, do you want them to revisit it? Because when we revisited Los Santos, we revisited that city from the 90s in current day. Do you want to go back there in current day? Do you want to go back there in the 80s? Where do you want to go back to Vice City?
Oh, that's a good question. I mean, if they went back in the 80s, that might seem a little overkill. There's already 2 games set there. I mean, I think I'd be fine with current day.
No. I think I'd want to go there current day just to punch LeBron James in the dick. And then the rest of the game would be a flashback to the 80s.
So you do that, punch him in the dick, and then when he's chasing after you, get in your DeLorean and go back.
Exactly. Flock of Seagulls is playing as I go back in time.
And the point is to kill his family before he can be born? Is that kind of the story of the game?
Maybe not that far, but
okay.
Yeah.
You want to punch his actual dick, not his dad's dick.
Right.
Awkward.
Hey, I'm just trying to get the facts straight.
I hear you.
We don't want any dicks hit that don't need to be hit.
Thank you, Peter Parker.
Any unnecessary dick punching.
Clwnbby, I'd love to let you chime in on favorite games. Swarley is in there with some Grand Theft Auto action. But when you first heard favorite game ever, what first came to mind?
Tony Hawk, without a doubt. Tony Hawk.
Which one? And you were doing something the other day that completely fascinated me. You were putting together a playlist of every song off of every Tony Hawk soundtrack.
Yeah, still working on it. I had to take a week off for my vacation, but I'm getting back into it.
So I'm really happy you mentioned the Tony Hawk series because when I think back to my falling in love with video games, the two series that stand out to me are Grand Theft Auto. Well, I guess there'd be three: Grand Theft Auto, Madden for sure, and then Tony Hawk. I cannot remember how many hours I logged into those Tony Hawk games. So give us the rundown on the Tony Hawk series, why you liked it, and let me know which game you liked the most.
Oh man, that's gonna be tough. Wait, what were the questions?
I just have a rundown on the series, like what you enjoyed about it, and then I'd love to know which one you liked the most.
Yeah, just everything, man. I was a little skater boy. Said see you later, boy.
Oh my god! I can't believe you just did that.
That's why I'm here.
I can.
Was that an Avril Lavigne reference?
Yes.
Possibly.
Right.
Possibly.
Love it.
Oh god.
Like, who else can fit Hoobastank and Avril Lavigne into a podcast?
Only
and
you.
also the Atlanta Falcons logo shaved into his chest.
Shaved into my chest hair. Yes.
Yep.
Great
Mhm.
options.
The first Tony Hawk game was amazing.
It was.
amazing.
It had the warehouse, man.
I still remember co-workers of mine, and I believe, when did that come out? Like
97, 98?
98, I believe.
98. Yeah, I remember, like, a corporal of mine, I believe, laughing at me, like, what are you doing playing a skateboarding game? I'm like, you don't understand. This game is blast. And I still remember...
Oh, because you're a cop. That's funny.
Wait, what?
Yeah, he was doing research on how to stop it.
No, well, if I remember at the time, pretty much the only games, like my friends and I were playing were sports games. Whether it was NFL Game Day or, what was the baseball game out back then?
It was just called baseball.
It's called
Probably. Yeah, it's
Triple Play?
baseball. Yeah, maybe Triple Play. It was pretty much all sports games, but I remember I heard nothing but good things about this Tony Hawk game, and I used to be a bit of a skateboarder back in the 1930s. So
you were around for the invention of, like, the urethane wheels and everything.
Right, the first skateboard ever, I was there, and I was like, I want to try this out, and I was blown away by it. I remember my buddies and I came over. We were drinking. We were playing Tony Hawk, and we were all in the warehouse trying to pull off what was the the hardest trick in that game? Was it not a 10? Was it
the 900?
The 900. That's it. Yeah, the 900. And we were trying for hours, and I just remember
square.
Right. I just remember I was the first one of my friends to pull it off, and everyone just went nuts in the. I guess I was living in an apartment at the time. Everyone just went nuts. I finally nailed that thing. Yeah, that game was great.
It still is. I played on the 64 just like a month ago.
On that terrible controller?
On that terrible, god-awful controller.
64, you gotta PlayStation it up, bro.
Yeah, well, I've got it for both.
Oh, aren't you an overachiever?
Look at you go, stud.
Hey. Yeah. That's all I got. No fancy quip on that one.
Look at him buying multiple copies of games before achievements and trophies existed.
Yeah, no joke. Oh, hey, what was the best one in the series, Clwnbby? What was the best one?
The best one and my favorite one are completely different. The best one, it'd have to be either 2 or 4, in my opinion. Number 2, you had the manual was introduced. You could keep your combos going. It was just so good. The levels, man, School 2, jeez. I'm going to go play it right now. It's hard just talking about it.
Thank goodness. Final.
Oh, is that what that noise was?
That was our goal of the podcast. Now we've succeeded.
It's work, man. Fuck, I'm gonna go fire it up like as soon as we're done.
And who is the best skater? Who is the guy you would always start with? Back before you'd make your own guy, who would you play as in the Tony Hawk series?
Okay, it always came down to 3. Bob Burnquist.
Yep.
Because he was one of my favorite skaters, like in real life, he can skate switch like no other. Chad Muska.
Loved Chad Muska. Seemed like the rebel of the game.
The Muska. I've got a picture of me and him at the X Games. And it was one of the happiest days of my life. And Jeff Riley.
Okay, Jeff. Yeah, absolutely.
He's a nice.
I will tell you the beautiful part with Tony Hawk, the thing I always loved, and especially with like Tony Hawk 2, and I know Tony Hawk 3 I did this for sure, but when you'd play through the game with a character, I think that's the only game where you could do multiple characters I played through with everyone, because it released all their videos.
Yes.
And I remember wanting to see all of them. So I know for a fact with Tony Hawk 3, we beat that game with every single character just so that we could watch their video at the end of all their skating highlights. I loved that aspect of that game.
Yeah, just like a little minute and 12-second clip. And sometimes, it's just them falling, eating shit. And others are just, yeah, that was great.
Well, another reason why I was a big fan of Tony Hawk was because, correct me if I'm wrong, but did he or did he not skate goofy-footed?
Tony?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He did, yeah. And so did I. Apparently, that was, of course, when I was a kid, didn't really realize it at first. After a while, people were like, why are you standing that way? That's completely wrong. You're right-handed. You should be standing. Like, no, this is what's comfortable to me.
I always hoped as a kid that someone would say that about me with inverted controls, but they never will.
Wait, do you use inverted controls too, Bob?
Absolutely.
See, me too!
Yeah, man, and I also skate goofy, so look at us.
What?
Yeah, same brain, bro. Same brain.
Goofy, but I'm normal on controls.
You did what?
I also skate goofy, but I'm normal on
controls. Yeah, and I believe my first real skateboard, like one that wasn't from like Kmart or something, was a Tony Hawk skateboard. With
a bird house?
What? Yes. Yeah. Had the skeleton bird skull bottom.
Black background.
I got some Powell and Peralta trucks, some slime ball wheels. I think I had some sweet custom pink grip tape. Yeah, buddy.
Unreal, man.
I got clear grip tape on one of my boards, and it was the biggest mistake of my life. I regret it to this day.
You got what?
Clear grip tape.
Oh, clear.
On one of my boards, and I was skating around outside with a just the most massive cup of red Kool-Aid, and I hit a rock, and just I could have tossed the cup aside, but for some reason my hand just went upside down and poured it all over my grip tape, and I had pink grip tape.
Wow. So wait, first of all, why weren't you drinking?
100 episodes. It took 100 episodes, but we finally got Clwnbby's best story ever.
Well, that's what you get for not drinking Mountain Berry, because Mountain Berry was the best flavor of Kool-Aid.
It was that was the one I made that day, okay? Don't judge me off of one Kool-Aid experience. I've had many days of Kool-Aid. That would just happen to be the one that spilled.
Unreal. Absolutely fantastic. This is why I'm glad Tony Hawk was your favorite game series of all time. Swarley, let's hear it, man. Give me the you're a junkie. Let's hear it. What's the video game that stands out to you?
Series or overall?
I'll give you both. Uncharted fan.
Well, overall, my favorite, it's definitely Vice City. Series, I've got to go with Uncharted.
It has been, the Uncharted series has been, story-wise, one of those series that cannot be touched. And I know a lot of people have argued and complained about some of the repetitive nature of the game and how they play, but story-wise, they've been real fun to play. They're very movie style in the way that's written. I love that about that series.
I don't know if I'm more invested into 3 characters more than Nathan Drake, Elena, and... Son of a bitch. Sully. God,
yeah,
that was
so into them.
That was the biggest fucking brain fart ever.
And, fuck.
Yeah.
Google?
Talk about the worst time for a brain fart.
Oh, man. It is a great series. I don't know. Twigg, are you in on the Uncharted series?
I think he just got booted off.
Like I said, Clwnbby, are you in on the Uncharted series?
Okay. I bought all... What, there's 3 of them, right?
There's 3 on consoles. There's a 4th on Vita.
And 3 of them are still wearing condoms in your house, aren't they?
All 3 of them. I bought them a couple months ago. I bought them with the 2 Infamous games because I wanted to, those were the games for, last generation. I wanted to get into them, and I didn't. So
well, let's take that up with Swarley. They're really, really good games, and they're games that the second someone is talking about buying a console. And I've had a couple guys who have bought PS3s recently because they're on the cheap right now. People are getting rid of them, so they're buying them. They ask what game to get. I'll always start with Uncharted. Those games are great, man. They're going to sell you on that system real quick.
Yeah. And that's why I got them, because, I've heard everything about them. Nathan Drake, the girl, and,
what's that guy's name?
What's his name?
Sully.
The other one, the guy who I've invested in his life.
The other guy. I'm so into him right now.
I'll kill you.
I think we've had a pretty good list of games that we enjoy right there. I know. Even here's the deal: it's hard at this point in time. It's so hard to say what's your favorite video game ever, because we are now at a point where there's been video games are 30 some years in. For a lot of us, we're 20 years into our video game lives. There's too many. It's at the point where it's too many to choose.
Oh, no, I'm going to throw you all on the spot right now, and you have to pick your top 3 games of all time.
Okay, no, I guess I would. The thing that I hate when people do, I have to answer your question with a question. If are sports games in or out on this discussion?
I suppose I'll let you have them.
Oh, that makes things real tough. Okay.
All right, if it makes things tougher, then we'll say no sports games.
Ah, shit.
No, I think we keep them in there. I think we keep them in. I say we keep them in there, and then my next question would be, because I'm going to put island style, Swarley, and I'm going to ask you if I have internet access on this island, or if I'm single playering these. There's a lot going into how I can this list.
You can whatever you want.
Okay. Okay, I'll start. I'm making this up off the fly right now, but I would go. I'll take the most recent Madden 25, just because there are old Madden games that I like a lot, but I think I just want the most recent Madden. I want the most up to date rosters. So I like all the Madden. I like all the Madden games. It has Russell Wilson in his true prime, or not his prime, but at his best, better than 2 years ago. So I've got to love that. But there have been Madden games I like more, I would say, but I got to have a Madden game in there. So I'll put Madden at number 3. I would then, to the number 2, I'd probably go. I love the Uncharted. I might go with just Uncharted 1 as well. Uncharted 2. But the love that I had for Uncharted 1, I hadn't played anything like that at the time. I fell in love with that story. Give me Uncharted and then give me Grand Theft Auto 5 as my number one. I could and I can, and I still do, play that game more than I've played any other video game ever.
Are you ready for the definitive edition, I guess we'll call it, this fall?
Oh, 100%. 100%. I will be getting that. That's a day one purchase.
Whoa. Wait, what? Definitive edition of what?
Grand Theft Auto 5.
Oh, I thought you said there was some definitive edition of Uncharted. I was like, wait, what?
I wish.
I butchered my list already. I got to take Uncharted off, move Madden up to number 2, and I have to give a shout out to Halo 2. Because of when that game came out, that time of my life, when I'm still hanging out with all the college buddies, we're in college, and that was a 24/7 love affair. I suck at first-person shooters, but split-screen co-op, system linking, Halo, those early Halo games, they came out right in my wheelhouse of being in college and having nothing better to do but waste every single minute of my life playing Halo. So I'll put that as number 3, then the Madden at number 2, and then Grand Theft Auto 5, number 1. That's my stamp it.
All right. What about you, Mr. Clwnbby?
Number 3, Pokemon Silver.
Of course. Now the question is, are the other two going to be Pokemon?
No.
Oh. Wow. Oh.
Number 2, NCAA Football 2003.
That game releases, 2015 releases next Tuesday, guys.
03, solid choice.
Yeah.
That's not a solid choice. That is a poor choice.
You are a poor choice.
No, actually, NCAA Football 2003 is not the best one in the series.
Okay, well...
2004 was better than 2003. And here's the deal. I'm even knocking a game that had someone from the Conference of Champions from up here in the Pacific Northwest, them Oregon Ducks, Joey Harrington on the cover of 2003, and that I'm even knocking that one. You liked 2003 more than 2004?
Yeah.
03's got my memories.
So let me know why.
Because I didn't play 04.
There you go. That's that easy.
No, I played it, and 2003 was my favorite. I don't. It's a combination of the gameplay, who I played it with, and how many hours of our lives we put into that game.
Let me ask you this, because there's no college football coming out this year. It is one of the saddest years.
I cried on Tuesday.
Ugh.
Like I was asleep Monday night at midnight, and then when it turned to 12:01, a single tear rolled onto my pillow.
Well, it's a bummer. And I'll ask you, going back to 2003, because I'm sure we were all in the same boat. How many hours did you spend entering players' names? Or did you just send the memory card to Fairdale Kings the day that he had the rosters down? How did you get your rosters? What did you do with that?
I was 12 then. So there was definitely no shipping anything to the guy from Kentucky, wherever he was. We scoured online for every single team's roster and put them in ourselves.
Yeah, I did a 4-player dynasty with my best friend and his brother and his brother's best friend. And what we did is we were all in the Big 12, and we ended up just doing naming Big 12 players. So I remember I was over at his house a few nights that week, and those were some pretty long nights.
Yeah, it was me and my best friend, and he's a huge OU fan, and I am the biggest OU hater of all time.
That's good. So you must have liked the 2003 Big 12 championship game.
Yeah. Yeah. I hate OU. Man. But, so, it came down we had to beat OU. And I had to use fucking Quentin Griffin. And now it's bringing up bad memories of that game.
He's taking a moment. He's got to shed the tears.
I got to catch my breath, man.
Take a knee. Take a knee.
I will never forget the fun. I loved the entering of names. I loved those nights where all we wanted to get the game and all we wanted to do was play it. But we would have at that time, I think with 2003 or 2002, 2003, 2004, I think that was when I lived in a house with 3-4 other guys, depending on what time of the year it was, and who needed to come loiter in our house and stay there. But we would just have that rotation going. It was like 8 o'clock to 10 o'clock in the morning was my turn to enter names for 2 hours. Then someone would take a shift from 10 to noon, and noon to 2, and we would just be on the system 24 hours a day until we finished entering at least all the major conference rosters into the system, and then we would trickle down into making sure we did all of the West Coast conferences and teams because we're West Coast guys, and we wanted to see everyone's names in there. I loved that time of life of entering. It was a hassle. It was way easier to download them, but I loved entering those names.
Yeah, just spending that time searching. You got a guy on the computer yelling out names and numbers, and then you painstakingly entering it on that controller.
Oh, those were beautiful times.
Those were fun, man.
All right, so what's your number one?
Number one, Tony Hawk's Underground 2. Probably one of the least liked Tony Hawk games by everyone, but that was my favorite.
Not too
Why?
shabby.
Why was that? Was that a PS3, Xbox 360 version?
No, that was PS2, GameCube.
Okay.
And I've got it on PS2 and GameCube right now. Hey, it's so good you have to own it twice.
What made it great?
Oh, man. Everything. Tony Hawk's Underground Thug was one of my best friends' most anticipated game ever. I haven't been that excited for a game to come out since. And when Underground 2 came out, it blew me away. And I played on GameCube first because I didn't have PS2 yet. But just the art direction of the game, the colors were brighter. The soundtrack was fucking killer. Gameplay, you can make your own tag and spray paint over someone else's shit online, and then you could hit them with your skateboard afterwards just to piss in their face, and it was great.
So you're kind of a violent motherfucker.
I'm sorry, did you say there was online on GameCube?
No, on the PS2 version.
Oh.
Yeah. But, man, I spent... That was when I first got my PS2, and Madden 05 came out. And that was about the same time Underground 2 was out. And I would spend... It was during the summer, and I would spend from probably 6 o'clock at night to 7 in the morning online playing that game.
All right, I gotta take a quick time out. Twig, what the fuck?
What?
What did you just fucking send me?
Is that the Twitter thing?
Oh my god.
I just looked real quick.
I don't know if you want to look.
Well, I'm looking. It's too late. Hold on.
That's
sex.
What? That's sex on a plate right there.
Is that...
Yeah, plate, baby.
They're not on Yankovic?
No, those are just two random, just Baltimoreans just enjoying some day.
That's not good when somebody mistakes your girlfriend for Weird Al Yankovic.
I wish I knew what it said on her shirt. It says, look like it says, on the naughty something?
On the naughty list.
Oh, okay.
Everything about that picture is naughty.
Same shirt that Clwnbby's wearing right now.
I wear the exact same shirt.
That's funny.
It shows a little bit of belly button, just like hers, but my chest hair and a Hawks logo is peeking through.
So, just so everybody's not completely confused to listen to this podcast, I will post this picture in spoilers on the VSN thread.
Oh, thank goodness.
Yeah, that's got to be known to all.
Right, unlike, how many beers would it take you to make out with this shim or this Weird Al lookalike? But in the city, it'd be more like, how many capsules of heroin would it take to put you in this situation?
I don't know if there's enough drugs or alcohol in the world.
No, she's amazing. She's on the naughty list.
All right, back on track. Twig, give me your top 3 of all time.
Top 3 of all time. I think I'm going to have to go with... I think I might actually say 3 would be probably GTA 3. Even though I said I think I liked Vice City better, it was just the innovation of 3. Just being the first real open world game.
I can dig that.
It's got to be. That'll be my number 3. I think number 2 is probably going to be Metal Gear Solid.
Ooh, solid. Solid choice.
Yeah, that was another one of those games where it was like word of mouth, trying to figure out some of the stuff, like when you're in the prison cell and you're like, how am I supposed to get out of this prison cell? And then somebody of yours goes, oh, it's the ketchup packet, and you squeeze it on the ground and hide under the bed, then the guard will think that you're bleeding, and like, what? That shit just blew my mind. Having to switch the controller to port 2 when you fought Psycho Mantis. I mean, incredible. Game was amazing. Just all the boss fights in that game were epic. It was great. And, of course, number 1 is the original Legend of Zelda for the NES. Hands down.
So I guess it's my turn. I'm going to go backwards from you guys. I'm going to go 1 through 3.
Ooh, dumb.
I've already kind of talked about 1 and 2, so the surprise would be number 3.
Surprise! Surprise! You're on the naughty list.
Jesus Christ.
Someone's been naughty.
Number 1 is going to be Grand Theft Auto Vice City. The story, the Scarface knockoff story, the city of Vice City, just the soundtrack. I mean, I'm going to have to play it again here. I might even play it after I'm done with Bully. Number 2 is Uncharted 2, Among Thieves. That game, I've never had the feels I've had about a game after I was done like that one. I don't know. It gave me a boner. We'll leave it at that.
That's the only time you ever got a boner.
There may have been a couple other times.
No, you played Parasite Eve.
I mean, like when I got put on the naughty list. I mean, of course, then.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, of course. Goes without saying.
Who wouldn't?
And my number 3, which I have not mentioned tonight at all, is going to have to be GoldenEye 007 for the N64.
Ooh, wow. That's a good one.
I mean, not only just going through the single player was so much fun, but going over to... What?
Oh, nothing. Just singing.
Going over to friends' places for sleepovers and doing 4-player... What? What'd you say?
Nothing.
What? It's when you're practicing for the naughty list back then.
Sure. But doing 4-player multiplayer, I mean, come on. Who didn't have so much fun just lining a doorway or a ramp with proximity mines and just standing off to the side and waiting for somebody to come walk through there and just see them blow up? I mean, that was the greatest thing ever.
That's a good choice. I approve of your ass backwards list.
Well, that's good. So, yeah. We've all given our top 3 favorites. We've all talked about series and different generations. I can't think of much else to talk about.
No, I'm ready to go play video games now. I'm not going to lie to you.
Should do it.
I really wish I had my PS3, but my little brother had started my Watch Dogs game and left it. Also stole my PS3 when he was over.
This brother is a jerk.
You got to get a new one.
He just graduated high school, so he feels really, really cool right now. Like he can do whatever he wants. So I got to lay the law down. Let him know that's not how it works.
You know, I'm kind of sad because I was just going to throw it out there that we should play some GTA 5.
Yes.
Yeah, thanks. I wish I could.
I mean,
hey, you're the younger brother. Beat him up.
I would like to add that if it was a top 5 list, Uncharted 2 and Borderlands would be on there, I think, for me.
Yeah, Borderlands is probably a game that I should have put on my list. Because living in the Borderlands is it's a great place to be.
I think Conker's Bad Fur Day would have to go online.
Of course it would.
Hey, I'm living that naughty life.
Well, it looks like we made it 100 episodes, Swarley. Congratulations on continuing to put these bad boys up and recording them and producing them. Hopefully we get 100 more in quicker than whatever the 4 years it took to get to 100 this time.
Oh, I hope so. Yeah, once gaming starts picking back up, at the end of the month in August, we're going to start putting out at least one every 2 weeks, if not every week. So,
nice.
I'm ready for the gaming drought to be over. So, what kind of final...
Do we get shout-outs on the way out? Shout-outs for episode 100?
We get final thoughts. That includes whatever you want.
Nice.
So, go ahead and kick it off.
Me? Oh, my gosh. Well, I would just say, I hope that as we get into the fall months and we've got some really fun games coming on, hopefully we can all get on the same page on systems and games to get, because I really do. We have at Virtual Sports Network, I am proud to say we have a pretty good group of guys when they do play games. They're real fun to play with. So hopefully we are all on the same page with games like Destiny, hopefully some GTA 5 with the next-gen systems, and the other stuff that comes out where we're all getting those and playing them together, because it really does change the video gaming experience, and I believe that it is as close as we'll ever get again to that growing up co-op, the couch co-op that you'd have with your buddies. The closest we get is throwing those headsets on and playing. So hopefully you guys will be on doing those, and like I said, will be similar systems anyways for those games. And also, I do have to give 2 shout-outs. Shout-out to Jay Dizzle. He's not on the podcast tonight, which is hilarious to me, that one of the guys that is a staple on all of the VSN Arcade Radio podcasts is not here. And then a shout-out to my man from the Borderlands, Everything Burns with I Am Medellin. Shout-out to him, and I'm going to throw a third. My top 3 shout-outs. Handle, I believe he's at handleIt_44. Gets a shout-out because he truly is one of the guys who has kept me interested in that Grand Theft Auto 5 life, which I wish I could live tonight, but can't because of my jerk.
Yeah, the one night that I want to play GTA Online.
I guarantee you he'll get on.
I'm still disappointed.
Me too.
All right, we'll go with Mr. Twigg next. Final thoughts.
That I am looking forward, hopefully, to play some Vita this coming week here. Gotta go to California for a work conference, and been neglecting my Vita for a little bit. So,
what are you gonna play?
I don't know. I'm hoping to play the Jack and Daxter collection.
Nice.
So, and unlike Bomber, it was playing his Vita while he was out in the wilderness.
I love that. We went camping and I took my Vita with me.
That would be the best way to camp.
That's awesome.
How
did you charge it, though?
So, I charged it before we left, and then I waited. My camping goes like this. I like to go out. I love camping. I love being out there. We've got some really good camping spots up in the Pacific Northwest. I'm proud of that. But I take with me one little tiny baby cooler with hot dogs in it and beverages. That's my food and drink for the weekend. I don't need the stove or the pots and pans. I like to keep it simple. I like to just eat the most minimal amount of, and like a couple things of Pringles.
Eat those raw wieners.
Yes. So what I do is, while everyone else is cleaning all of their materials from cooking breakfast or dinner, I just turn the Vita on and disappear and say, I'm not helping any of you guys put any of that crap away at all. I am disappearing to play video games. And it gets you a good 30 to 40 minutes of doing something while they all clean up a campsite that didn't need that much stuff because they're high maintenance lady men.
Wow.
Oh, Bomber calling out his friends on the podcast.
Oh, they know. They've been called out on any single way I can call them out, I do.
And speaking of Bomber, it kind of goes without saying, shout-outs to all the people that have kept this going for as long as it has, because let's be honest, when Boucher started this, I thought maybe it would go 5 episodes at most. But besides those, pretty obvious shout-outs to all those people, I would like to give, speaking of Bomber a big shout-out for being Hoopfest champion 2014.
Hey, thank you, my friend. It is nice to be on top of that 3-on-3 game world. It is the largest 3-on-3 basketball tournament in the world, and I'm the champion of it.
So I hear.
Yeah, I was each day I was waiting to see an update on Facebook.
Did you throw the basketball through the Apple Store window?
No, I did not. Thank goodness. I did throw it as hard. I'm a big anti-Starbucks guy because I was a huge Sonics fan growing up, and the guy who owned Starbucks sold the Sonics to the man who then moved them to Clwnbby's wonderful city of Oklahoma, Oklahoma City Thunder. So he has my team now because of the guy who owns Starbucks. So I'm anti-Starbucks. I haven't spent a dime at Starbucks since he sold the team, and they put me on the Starbucks backboard. All the backboards at Hoopfest are sponsored, and the one we played the majority of our games on was Starbucks.
Boo.
That reminds me of another amazing old school game. NBA Jam. Seattle Sonics with Gary Payton and Sean Kemp, anyone?
So great, and then if you beat it with them, you'd unlock Kendall Gill or Detlef Schrempf, depending on the game.
Detlef Schrempf. Yep. Amazing. NBA Jam.
Alright, time for Mr. Clwnbby shout-outs and final thoughts.
Shout out to the Weird Al Yankovic movie, UHF. That movie blew my mind as a kid. He puts on a muscular bodysuit and goes full Stallone, bottom lip hanging down in a seizure, gun shooting explosion rampage.
And
also shout out to whoever Weird Al Yankovic was making out with in Baltimore City earlier today.
Yeah.
And 100 episodes in, we now have the award for most random and hilarious final thought of all time.
Thank you.
Holy shit.
I cherish this moment. It's currently 7:18 Arizona time, and I will never forget this. It really means a lot. Next guy.
Oh man, you really are a clown, baby. My final thoughts and shout-outs to everyone who's been a part of the podcast through the years, even if I have no idea who you are, like Boucher. I have no idea who that guy is. Before my VSN time.
If it helps you, he's Canadian.
So he likes bagged milk.
He likes Avril Lavigne.
Hey, you like Avril Lavigne.
I do like Avril Lavigne.
Maybe you and Boucher are the same person.
But yeah, shout-outs to them. Shout-outs to my racing guys, JMS, Garrett, and Pepper. Can't really think of any other shout-outs. Shout-outs to Clwnbby for the awesome shout-out. Oh, and one of my favorite VSN Arcade Radio moments of all time. I've got to give him an extra shout-out to KNUBB for the most random screaming tirade at his dog in the middle of a podcast.
No, hang on. Which VSN Arcade Radio podcast moment was better with KNUBB? Shouting at his dog or his mom coming on?
Oh, yeah, when Dizzle serenaded her.
See, that was an episode that I missed. So.
One of the most unbelievable things I've ever been a part of in my life was when one of the guy's moms jumped onto his microphone because we thought it was him, and some chick started talking, and we're like, who is this? This is Kyle's mom. Or whatever.
The best part.
Is his name also Kyle Swarley?
What?
I don't know. I always thought, is Nub's name Kyle like yours?
Yeah. No, it's just Nub.
Yeah, his
one name.
That's on his birth certificate.
His name's Kyle as well.
Yeah, and then Dizzle starts singing to her, and then you can hear Nub in the background going, "Mom, get off of here!" And she's like, "No, this is nice."
Oh god.
Oh my god. Oh, hey, also I'd like to add a shout out to Clwnbby's chest hair. Shout out.
Clwnbby.
Also, for Atlanta Falcons.
We'll just let that one go.
This is getting a little weird. So yeah, this has been the extra special 100th episode of VSN Arcade Radio.
Maybe it's a
phoenix
rising from the ashes. He does live in Arizona. Phoenix, Arizona. Get it?
Yeah.
Boo.
But yeah, as Jay always signs off, say goodbye, everybody.
Love you guys.
Smooches.
Toodles.